President Trump reportedly considering direct strikes against nuclear facilities in Iran. Eamon Javers joins us right here on set to talk about what is happening in Washington and what he's hearing. Eamon, good morning. Good to see you.
Yeah, good morning. Good to see you, Becky. I mean, we don't know. We're kind of in waiting and holding mode right now as we wait for President Trump to make his decision. We do know that there was this meeting in the Situation Room yesterday. We don't know what options were presented to the president yesterday in the Situation Room. And we also know that the president has been posting on social media, amping up that rhetoric against the Iranians, seeming to set the stage for U.S. involvement by using the word "we" in those social media posts about we control the airspace over Iran, linking himself to the Israeli military effort. But ultimately, we don't know what the president's going to decide. Just this morning, we're seeing we don't know. Just this morning, we've got a new statement here from the Iranian Supreme Leader, which I think is relevant. The Supreme Leader saying any American military entry will undoubtedly be met with irreparable damage. The Iranian people will firmly stand against an imposed war, just as they will stand firm against any imposed peace.
You can read that either way.
Right.
So some bluster there.
Yeah, you will be irreparably damaged. I don't know about us. I don't know about the great Satan.
And the U.S. military seems to suggest that they see Iranian movement to preset strikes against U.S. assets in the region.
They've never done it, though. They've never pushed that. They've never crossed that Rubicon, that red line. They might.
So that's the setup, right? If the United States goes in with those big bunker buster bombs, hits the nuclear facilities with B-2 bombers, does that trigger retaliation against U.S. bases throughout the region? Does that trigger a wider war? What's the U.S. plan if that happens? Is this just striking the nuclear
facilities?
What they got left? Is this regime change? You know, what is the end goal here?
What do they have left to strike back? They have a pretty, I mean, a lot of it has been obviously destroyed.
A lot of it's been destroyed. And what we don't know really is the command and control, right? Because the Israeli decapitation attack early on in this took out a lot of the key leaders and decision makers up and down the chain of command. So how quickly can the Iranians respond? How quickly can they constitute a response of their own is sort of unknown at this point. And then the other unknown is, you know, will the United States move against the Supreme Leader himself? The president threatening to kill him on social media yesterday, saying we know where he is, we can get him.
He's safe for now.
Right.
Where are the B-2s right now? I've heard they're in Diego Garcia. That's 3,500 miles. I've also heard that you could fly them from here. It's a 30-hour flight, and you refuel. We've got the refueling apparatus ready to go.
It's around the world. So the question is, when does the president make the decision? How much lead time does he make? I don't think we fully know, right? And part of strategic deception is you don't let the other side know where your assets are.
But part of what I've been trying to figure out is why is he taking to social media to say some of these things? On the one hand, it looks like it's some form of attempted diplomacy to try and put some pressure on things, because otherwise, why in the world would you say anything? Because all you're doing is giving away the...
Why even advertise the fact that you're having a Situation Room meeting about it, right? Unless the whole point of the Situation Room meeting is to be very publicly considering this option. It is itself the saber rattling, right? The social media is itself the saber rattling.
You look at it the same way you do the negotiations with tariffs, right? And from that perspective.
Exactly. And if you're Tehran and you look at that and you say, well, what did he do on tariffs? He went maximalist and then backed way off to something just north of minimalist, right? And so if you look at this and you say, well, he's threatening to kill the Supreme Leader, but maybe he'll back off to, we'll
But he said, I'll give you 60 days, and it was on the 61st day. I mean, it seems like you can glean. Sometimes it's not just BSing. Sometimes I think it's, and if you tell people to leave Tehran, I mean, they are leaving Tehran. Right now, there's traffic jams to get out.
But what does that mean, too? Because
means get out of Iran. Get out of Tehran. No, I know. But this means...
I mean, is the United States contemplating bombing, a big civilian area in the center of the capital city? I mean, you look at the human cost of that, the political cost of that, economic,
And what that does to the Iranian people, who we think a lot of them support us and not that
or at least don't support the regime.
Don't support the regime, but to continue to have that goodwill. And that's been the difference between what the Israelis have done and what the Iranians have done to this point. The Israelis have bombed military sites. The Iranians are bombing cities,
I mean,
civilian cities.
the lesson of the past 25 years with the Iraq War in particular is that you can't look at military action in isolation, right? You have to look at military action in the context of what are your political goals, what are your economic goals, do you have a plan for what happens after the strike, right?
And
the United States is really good at breaking stuff and having strikes.
There were no flowers being thrown toward troops in Iraq, like
Yeah.
Rumsfeld said that they're going to.
Right.
And
we totally misjudged the political situation in Iraq. And I think anybody who says they know what the political situation is.
And that's when it got bad with the dead enders and the IED, all the horrible stuff that we.
Yeah, so you remove Saddam and you get ISIS, right? And so what is the outcome likely to be in Tehran? I don't think we really have any idea. And I don't think you can necessarily trust Iranian expats who haven't lived there in 30 years or 40 years to tell you, we have a really good fix on where things are in Tehran right now and who's going to support us and who's not. These things, I think, you have to have some humility with and realize that you can have these military strikes. The United States has enormous military power, but unless you have a very clear sense of where you're going after that,
unless it's really targeted one time Fordo, and you just, or targeted at the nuclear program, and you just once and for all take it off the table forever.
And so that's the non-regime change option. Right? You go in, just do the nuclear facilities, and tell the Iranian regime, you can stay in power, and we're going to help you rebuild your economy if you back off this nuclear program, which we've just destroyed. So you have to be super confident that you can destroy the nuclear program, that the military option is going to work, and then confident that you can work with the regime after that, that they're not so humiliated and incensed and outraged that you can have some kind of deal. I think one indicator to watch is how the new government of Syria has been responding to this. They have stayed very, very quiet here. They don't like the Iranians because the Iranians were working with the Assad regime. This is the Syrian rebels who just overthrew the Assad regime. They're now very quiet about all this. They're not denouncing Israel, not denouncing the United States. They want to be integrated into the Western economy. And their goal is to facilitate that. So you see a situation in Syria where that is a country that is pivoting toward the West. Could you get to some outcome like that in Iran? Maybe, but there's so many ifs along the way between here and there.
Eamon, thank you.
You bet.
We don't know about that guy either. What was he, ISIS or Al-Qaeda?
He was Al-Qaeda, yeah.